Thanks for joining me for a 30-minute yoga class today. It's a short week and a lot of things can be packed into 4 days. So if you're joining me, give yourself a pat on the back that you prioritize this time. We're going to be doing some work where we're going to be opening the hips quite a bit, maybe doing some squats. So if you've got a yoga block to help support, if you use those when we go into any of our squat moves, please have it handy. We can also use pillows, so if you have something similar that just brings the floor a little closer to whatever body part we are suspending, whether it's our hips or our arms, feel free to do some improvising there. Water if you need it, and a nice quiet space. Lay down your mat, and if it's not quiet where you are, we're just going to try to bring our focus internally and let all of the noise around us go. So let's make it down to our mat. Come down with purpose. Land all the different parts of your body, the back of your body, feeling the back of the head, the shoulders, shoulder blades, back of your hips, your heels, arms, back of your hands. Closing your eyes or keeping your gaze soft as we start to focus inwards, listening and feeling our breath going in and out through the nose. Feeling the chest rise and fall with each breath. Maybe it's your first time today that you're actually paying attention to the fact that air is going in and out of your lungs. Such a natural process, activity. Stop to think about it once in a while. Feel it going through the back of your nasal passages. Feel the chest expanding. Scanning from the top of your head to the tip of your toes and trying to relax any areas that might have some tension. Brows, jaw, shoulders, abdomen, down through the legs, down into the hands. Just an intentional relaxation. Maybe separate your teeth and pull the tongue off the top of your mouth. Breathing becomes longer and deeper. Maybe it's more audible as well. Next inhale is through the nose and then hold at the top. Opening your mouth, exhaling and sighing. Doing that again. Inhale and hold. Exhale and sigh. 2 more at your pace. To in and out through the nose. And if we happen to get just a little dizzy there, just take a few breaths at a normal pace to try to come back to a state of normalcy. If I were to stand up quickly right now, I might be a little wobbly. So slowly start to wiggle fingers and toes and roll your wrists and ankles. Reach above your head, stretch opposite directions, hearing some cracks on my mat. And then as we exhale, bring those knees in and just do a roll side to side, massage the lower back against the floor. Coming into happy baby with those arms between your knees, grabbing on shins, ankles, or outside of your feet. And those feet are like they're going to take a walk on the ceiling. Keep rolling, keep massaging. And slowly release, bring those knees in again, and roll up into a little ball. Keep your right knee in, extend your left leg, and you can hover or bring it right down to the floor. We've got the toes pulled back to our nose. And switch sides slowly, so you might want to bring both knees in first before you extend the second side. And if you're getting any aches or discomfort in your neck area, you can bring the head back down in between. So as we switch, we can come down and come back up again. Again, your choice. Hover that leg or bring it down to the mat. And now I'm going to bring my hands by my head, not grabbing on or pulling on the neck, and just doing a side to side, a very slow bicycle. You can keep on doing that one knee in and the other if you don't like the bicycle. Feeling the core working. And bring it back to center. One last hug. And slowly roll down through the head. Right arm up, rolling over onto your side. Pushing up and making your way to table position. Spread those fingers wide, wrists underneath your shoulders, elbow creases pointing forward but not locked. Propping up on your toes. Now sag the belly down in cow. Inhale and open the chest. And curl up into cat. Belly button to your spine. Exhale. Cow again. Inhale. Cat. Exhale. Waking up the spine. Warming up those muscles. Now going at your pace. Few more. Cow, cat. Really open up that chest and then really arch through the upper back. One last time. And land in table position. Bring those hands just a little bit forward, ready to push into your first downward facing dog. Remember that puppy is also an option if you don't want to push right into downward facing dog right away. And we're going to walk out those feet, warm up the back of the legs. Nice and slow. And now coming to stillness, really pushing up the tail towards the ceiling, chest towards the floor. Just holding here for a few breaths. And now bend the knees, lift up the left leg, nice and high, three-legged dog. And we're going to bring the foot forward, stepping to the outside of your left hand, staying into a lunge position. Your option is to bring the knee down, and you can always flip over your mat for a little bit more cushion as well. Opening through the hips. Getting ready to do a rotation with the lunge.
So starting to lift the left hand, you're pivoting onto your right hand, maybe coming up onto tented fingers as we slowly rotate, open, chest towards the left side. And we can lift the upper arm. And bring that hand back down. Getting ready to step back. And let's do our first flow, Chaturanga Dandasana, slowly down. Land the top of your feet on the mat and just lift up the chest slightly. So not into an upward facing dog, just into a cobra. Flip those toes and push back. Downward facing dog. Walking again if you want to have a bit of movement. And then coming to stillness. Bend the knees, lifting up the right leg. Three-legged dog. And then bring that foot to the outside of your right hand. Shift your left hand over, up onto tented fingers. And doing a twist with your lunge. Again, our option is to have our knee down if that's where we're more comfortable. Different variations. Hand reaching up to the ceiling. And slowly coming back. Taking that foot back. And let's do another flow. So making sure you adjust your hands so those elbows are close to your upper body as you lower. Coming up a little bit higher. Flipping back into downward facing dog. Bending both knees and walking up to the top of your mat. Flat back. Exhale. Inhale. Hands to heart center and sitting down into chair pose. Settling in here, our thighs squeeze in together. You can do just a little check down to see if you can see your toes peeking out a little further than your knees. Everybody has a different depth here when they're sitting down. So we're going to be holding for a little bit, so making sure you're in a spot where you're comfortable, and if you need to come out of it at any time, please do what's best for you. Options for your hands, reaching out. And back into heart center and exhale. Flat back. Hands down, stepping back. Your choice of flow. Maybe you're getting ready to add push-ups. And maybe you're ready to go into upward facing dog. Flipping back, downward facing dog. And we're going to do a little bit of ab work here. So come forward and hover into a plank. And push back, downward facing dog. Come forward and hover. Push back. Now here's some different options. Come forward, and without moving the body too much to one side, so still trying to have those hips square with the floor, lifting one arm, and coming back, touching opposite toes. This worked well in my practice. A little shaky here. So I come forward on my plank. I'm getting too tired, so my hand is going down. There we go. Hold your downward facing dog. Walk your hands back to your feet. Bend those knees generously, pressing your torso onto your thighs, grabbing onto opposite elbows, and just hang in a ragdoll. Make sure your neck is nice and loose. And let's bring those hands down, walk forward again. We're in a plank. Your plank can be with knees down if you need to. Back into downward facing dog. Into plank, here's your option. Arm out. And pushing back, reaching for opposite toes. Plank, arm out. And back. I'm not sure if I've got one more in me. And let's come forward. One last time into plank. Slowly lower down. Upward facing dog. And downward facing dog. Good work. Lifting up that left leg. Nice and tall. Stepping forward outside of your left foot. Bring those hands in a little closer. We're going to bring the right foot forward, going to the outside of your right hand. Getting ready for a Malasana squat. This is where we might want to use our prop, so we can have it at various heights, below our hips. And we're slowly going to lower those hips, knees and toes going in the same direction, slightly on an angle. Arms are inside of your knees. And sitting down where it's comfortable. So again, if we're using a prop for this one, we're not putting all of our weight, we're just helping with some support. And I'm just going to turn and do the front view of Malasana. So you're choosing how close those feet are together. Those hips are down as low as is comfortable, with support or without. Trying to keep shoulders back, chest open. Breathing through this. Maybe not a natural or extremely comfortable pose. Come out of this if you're feeling any pain. One last inhale. And exhale, bring your hands down and stepping up. And just have those feet come a little bit closer together. Flat back, inhale. Exhale down. Inhale all the way up. Hands to heart center, sit back into chair. So now, feel the difference. We're not going down as far. Knees and toes, straight ahead, not out at an angle. Not opening the hips on this one. Keep the chest open. Exhaling, coming all the way down. Flat back. Hands down, we're taking one leg, stepping it back. And the foot is on an angle. So I've got my left foot back. My toes are pointing around the 10 or 11 o'clock position. I make my way up into warrior one. So hips facing forward, arms reaching up. Trying to keep that heel on the ground, back foot. Shoulders, hips, front knee aligned, facing forward. On your next inhale, prop up on your toe and adjust that back foot, maybe moving back a little bit, heel to arch alignment into warrior two. Shoulders relaxing. Front thigh pressing towards the back of your mat. Settle into your pose. Strong warrior two. Flip your palm. Exalt your warrior. Warrior two, and then into side angle pose. Top shoulder pulling back. Warrior two. Bringing back that front leg, not quite straight. Hinge at the hip. Tip forward. Triangle pose. Coming out of this pose. And now facing the long edge of your mat. Knees and toes in the same direction. Getting ready to hinge forward again, bending at the hips. And we can have our prop ready for us in front. As we bend forward, our prop can bring the floor a little closer to us if we want that extra support. Holding here. Nice wide-legged pose. And we're going to walk our hands over to the left as we turn both toes. And now we're facing the end of our mat. We haven't faced yet. We're going to adjust our back foot. So now my right foot is pointing around 1 or 2, and I'm coming up for a warrior one pose in the opposite side, opposite direction. Inhaling, strong arms. And again, if we think about alignment, shoulders, hips, and the front knee pointing forward. Next inhale, moving into warrior two, making adjustments with the back foot, perhaps going into a longer stance. Heel to arch alignment, settle in, shoulders relaxing down, pressing back that front thigh. Flipping the front palm, exalt your warrior. Stretch the front side of your body. Coming out of that, side angle pose. Reaching the arm a little further overhead if you want an increase in the stretch. Standing back up and now pulling back that front leg, not quite straight. Hinge at the hips and tip. Triangle pose. And coming out of that, stepping up, we're going to go into one more wide-legged fold over. Again, choosing whether you want your support. We can do a variation with our arms. We can grab onto elbows. We can clasp our hands behind our back. Release your hands, make your way up, and let's move those feet a little closer together. Inhale, flat back. Exhale down. Inhale all the way up. Hands to heart center, and then down by your side into Tadasana, mountain pose. And just holding, making your way back to the top of your mat. One more inhale. Swan dive down. Flat back. Hands down, step back. Your version of a flow, with or without push-ups. Staying at cobra or upward facing dog. And now landing those knees and coming back into a stretch. And then a relax down into child's pose. Slowly coming up, and we're going to flip our feet forward, sitting up nice and tall. Making any adjustments through those cheeks. Inhaling, exhaling as we fold over, hinging at the hips, walking the hands down the legs. Trying to keep your gaze out and the chest open. Slowly coming up. Bending your knees, the soles of your feet come together in front into cobbler's pose. Perhaps your feet are out further, maybe they're in closer. You can grab onto shins or your feet as we press with the intention to get a stretch, but the stretch comes at different points, so it's not about having those outside of our knees touching the floor. It's about feeling a stretch wherever that is for you. Trying to stay up nice and tall. And perhaps on your next exhale, you can also do a slight lean forward. Notice how the stretch intensifies if you've done that. Slowly come out of that stretch, extend those legs, give it all a shake, and then get ready to come down, rolling through the back and shoulders, bring those knees in. Into happy baby pose again. This one might be still, or the movement might be something that you're still welcoming after all of those poses. Releasing your happy baby and having those legs extend up towards the ceiling. Soles of your feet like they're walking on the ceiling. And if you'd like just a little bit of support at the very base of your spine, you can have your hands propping you up. Otherwise, we're just holding our feet in waterfall. Maybe they're going for a little walk or a shake. Last hug in. And then let's extend. Feet go into the bottom corners of your mat. Let those toes roll out. Arms extend. Palms facing up. And now let all the different areas and the parts and the muscles of your body just relax. No longer needing to hold or focus on balance. Let's just think about the in and out of our breath. Shavasana, if you have an opportunity to extend your yoga practice beyond our 30 minutes. If not, just a slow wiggle of fingers and toes. Extend nice and long. Inhale and stretch. Last one. Exhale, go soft. And now bring in one foot and then the other. Bring those arms in. And we're going to roll onto one side or the other and just hold in a side position. Your eyes are still closed or soft. Just feeling a different part of your body connecting to the floor. And when you're ready, making your way up into a seated position. Crossing those legs. Keeping your gaze nice and soft. Hands come to heart center. Taking a deep breath in. And an audible exhale through the mouth. Doing that again. Inhale through the nose. Audible exhale through the mouth. In and out through the nose. Your pace of breathing. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you got everything you needed out of today's practice. And remember to congratulate yourself for making you a priority. Namaste. Thanks for joining me, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care.